Swiss Arabian might have just dropped the best Shaghaf ever. This is Shaghaf Amber Infusion, released in 2025, and after wearing it next to the original Shaghaf Wood Gold, plus comparing it in my mind to every Shaghaf I have owned or smelled, I think this could be the new king of the entire Shaghaf lineup. It's richer, it's more mature, and it might surprise a lot of you. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, Fragrance Fam. Today we are doing a full in-depth review of Shaghaf Amber Infusion by Swiss Arabian. I'm diving into a comparison with some real heavyweights from the Shaghaf lineup. We're talking about Shaghaf Wood Gold, Shaghaf Wood Azraq, Shaghaf Tonka, Shaghaf Amber, and all the others in this amazing family. Let's see how they stack up. There are a few more in the Shaghaf family, such as Shaghaf Wood Elixir, Shaghaf Wood Aswad, Shaghaf Wood Abayad by Swiss Arabian, and Shaghaf Wood Royale. That said, we won't be covering them in today's list. We'll save those for a separate video so we can give them the attention they deserve. Just to give you a little background, I'm diving into how I compare fragrances in this review. I own the original Shaghaf Gold and this new Shaghaf Amber Infusion here with me. I also own Shaghaf Tonka and Shaghaf Wood Azraq, but those bottles are in my other house in another city. Those of you who know me personally know this. I split my time between two cities, so it's almost impossible to keep all my perfumes in one place. I have smelled basically the whole Shaghaf line at this point. The only one I have not properly worn or tested is Shaghaf Vanilla Toffee. So when I say where Amber Infusion ranks, it's not just random hype, it's coming from actually living with this line. Let's get back to the review. By the end, I will explain why I can genuinely substantiate the argument that Shaghaf Amber Infusion is the best among all of them in the entire lineup. Shaghaf Amber Infusion is officially an Oriental spicy unisex fragrance created by Leporini. That already tells you Swiss Arabian didn't want just another sweet clubbing monster, they wanted something more refined. The opening. Right off the first spray, you get amber. That's unusual because most fragrances open with citrus or bright notes. Here, the amber is front and center, but it's not a cheap, sticky amber. It feels warm, resinous, almost like molten golden resin on your skin. Supporting that, you have apricot, cardamom, and ginger. The apricot adds a soft, juicy, slightly jammy fruitiness. Cardamom gives that aromatic, slightly creamy spice. Ginger adds a gentle, sparkling warmth, not sharp, more like a soft glow. So the opening is a warm, spiced amber with a fruity halo. It's not blasting sugary syrup in your face. It smells more niche-leaning and polished than most of the Shaghaf line. The heart, as it moves into the mid, you get vanilla, apple, davana, cedar, and lily of the valley. Vanilla, smooth, creamy, but not too thickly sweet. Apple, a crisp, slightly sweet accent that keeps it from becoming too heavy. Davana, a bit boozy, herbal, almost like a sweet liquor vibe. Cedar, gives a woody backbone and structure. Lily of the Valley, a light, clean floral lift in the background. On my skin, this is where it evolves from fruity amber into a much more elegant, resinous amber. The sweetness calms down and you get this richer, more textured profile with woods and aromatics playing around the amber. The dry down, this is the part that really sets Amber Infusion apart. Amber again in the base, plus olibanum, frankincense, patchouli, musk, and leather. Olibanum gives that smoky, slightly church-incense character. Patchouli brings earthy depth, but it's modern and clean, not dirty or musty. Musk smooths everything, making it feel like a soft veil on the skin. Leather, a supple, soft leather note, more like a worn leather jacket than a harsh new leather bag. The dry down smells like you lit incense in a high-end leather boutique. It's rich, smooth, and a little mysterious. This is where you feel that this could be the best Shaghaf idea starting to make sense. Performance time. On my skin, Shaghaf Amber Infusion gives a solid 7 to 9 hours, sometimes more on clothes. It's not the absolute beast that some Shaghaf flankers are, but it is more than enough for a full day or a full evening. Projection. First 2 to 3 hours. You get a clear scent bubble, people around you will notice you. After that, it sits closer to the skin but still present if someone comes into your personal space. Versatility. And season, best in autumn, winter, and cooler spring evenings. In cooler weather, the amber, incense, and leather really bloom. For occasions, perfect for dinners, dates, lounges, slightly formal events, and even some office settings if you're controlled with the trigger. If Shaghaf Wood Gold is notice me from across the room, Shaghaf Amber Infusion is come a bit closer and you'll smell something expensive. Let's dive into a classic we both know and love, Shaghaf Wood Gold. Very sweet, saffron, oud vanilla, rose. It's thick, syrupy, and can be nuclear. Projection is massive. It can fill a room easily. Great for compliments if people around you enjoy sweet, bold fragrances. But in tight spaces, in hot weather, or at the office, it can feel like too much. Shaghaf Amber Infusion versus Gold. Sweetness. Gold is full on dessert mode. Amber Infusion is semi-sweet and more resinous, more incense-driven. Style. Gold is flashy, extroverted, full clubbing energy. Amber Infusion is more mature, sophisticated, like the older, richer cousin. Wearability. Gold shines in nights out, parties, and cold weather. Amber Infusion works for nights out, yes, but also dinners, classy gatherings, and even some office wear. If you own Shaghaf Out Gold and sometimes think, I love this, but I can't wear it everywhere, Amber Infusion feels like the natural evolution. It keeps the impact but adds good manners. Now let us fold in the rest of the Shaghaf family I know well. Shaghaf Out Azraq, Shaghaf Tonka, and Shaghaf Amber. Remember, I own Tonka and Azraq as well, but they're in my other house in another city. It's hard to keep all my perfumes in one place. But I've worn them enough to know exactly how they stack up. Shaghaf Out Azraq. Azraq leans into a sweet, thick amber oud profile. It has that date syrup kind of vibe with vanilla and spices. In cool weather or at night, it smells rich, powerful, and very Middle Eastern. But if you overspray it, it can feel heavy and a bit synthetic to some noses. Compared to Azraq, Azraq equals sticky, sweet, gourmand-leaning, dense. Amber Infusion equals more incense and leather, less sugar. Azraq is playful, indulgent, and very sweet. Amber Infusion is more serious, more luxurious, and better balanced between sweetness and darkness. Shaghaf Tonka. Tonka is your cozy, cuddly Shaghaf. Think tonka bean, almond or nutty facets, creamy sweetness, and a soft base. It's perfect for indoors, cuddling, chill evenings, colder weather. It smells more Western designer, with a twist than hardcore Middle Eastern oud bomb. Compared to Tonka, Tonka equals comfort, warmth, cozy blanket. Amber Infusion equals mystery, depth, and elegance. Tonka is a great Netflix and chill scent. Amber Infusion is more dinner, date, low light, and candles. Shaghaf Amber. Let's talk about Amber briefly because it's another popular one. Amber is much sweeter and more overtly playful. It leans heavily into that red, fruity, almost candle-like style. On my nose, Amber is not very masculine. It leans more unisex and even a bit youthful. If you like that kind of sweet, fun, unisex profile, Amber does the job. But in terms of being the best or most refined, that's where Amber Infusion steps ahead. While Amber is fun and sweet, Amber Infusion feels more three-dimensional. Amber, spice, incense, leather, and a grown-up character. So why am I confident enough to say that so far, Shaghaf Amber Infusion is the best in the entire Shaghaf lineup, at least from what I've experienced? Here's the reasoning. I've smelled basically all of them and lived with several bottles. Oud Gold, Azraq, Tonka, Amber, and more. The only one I have not properly worn is Shaghaf Vanilla Toffee, so I am not pretending to rank that one yet. Most Shaghafs lean very heavily into sweetness and boldness. They're amazing for impact but not always for refinement. Shaghaf Amber Infusion keeps the richness you expect from Swiss Arabian, adds incense, leather, and a more sophisticated amber base, is easier to wear in more situations than Gold, Azraq, or Amber. Smells more expensive and niche-inspired compared to some of the more sugary flankers. So when I say right now this is the best Shaghaf for me, it's not just hype. It's based on how often I reach for it, how it behaves on skin, and how it compares to the rest of the line I've actually experienced. Alright, let me give you my current Shaghaf ranking based on everything I've smelled and owned, with the one exception of vanilla toffee. First, Shaghaf Amber Infusion, the most refined, most complex, and the one I reach for most today. Shaghaf Wood ranks second for me, not just for its amazing scent, but because it really nails that bold wood vibe. Shaghaf Wood Gold still the king of loud, sweet Middle Eastern clubbing scents. Azraq definitely takes the third spot on my list, and it's awesome. Shaghaf Wood Azraq amazing for cold nights and people who love that thick, date-like sweetness. Tonka and Ahmar both had their ups and downs in the rankings, but I finally decided to put Tonka in fourth place and Ahmar in fifth. Shaghaf Tonka beautiful cozy scent, perfect for comfort and colder evenings. Shaghaf Amber fun, sweet and more unisex, but a bit too sweet and not masculine enough for my personal taste. The reason Tonka took the edge for me comes down to three things: smoothness, versatility, and how easily it gets compliments. It smells more Western designer with a twist. Amr, on the other hand, leans a bit richer, deeper, and slightly more intense. It's beautiful, but it's a little more specific in mood. Remember, this is my nose, my skin, and my style. Your ranking might be totally different. Now I want to hear from you. Which Shaghaf is your number one? Have you tried Shaghaf Amber Infusion yet? And do you think it can really beat Shaghaf Wood Gold or Azraq? And if you've tried vanilla toffee, tell me in the comments where you would rank it compared to the others. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe for more Middle Eastern fragrance content, and share this with someone who's obsessed with Swiss Arabian. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.